What's what's going on, guys? It's GBP, baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, I haven't been in the charts since Thursday, so it's exciting to see how much movement there's been. Hope everybody's had a good bank holiday, and let's get straight into things. So we're going to start on the dollar as per usual, and as you know, we are coming to the end of August. With September starting next week, we have non-farm payroll next week, and it also means that we're coming to the end of this month. And because we've had such large expansion towards the end of the month, I am expecting a level of retracement ideally that can help leave behind a wick. You see how every single month here has some kind of wick? We can probably anticipate the same moving into August, so we need to take that into consideration. But nonetheless, I'm not expecting too much to happen this week just because of non-farm payroll being next week and because of how crazy last week Friday was and delivered. So the things that I've got my eyes set on in particular are this wick right here, between this right here, and then also these lows. Now, I don't want to talk too much about these lows right now, but I am going to still mark it out nonetheless. And then we also want to look at the wicks ranges and see where we are. So you can see we're just on the 50% level of this wick right here, which is quite interesting. So with that all taken into account, let's also mark out the consequent encroachment of this wick, and I'm going to put monthly wick range. And as we drop down to the lower time frames, we should be able to look within this range to try and find potential PD arrays that price may be using to trade around. So let's drop down to the weekly. Now, do I want to see an up close week or a down close week? Well, based off how price is moving, I would want to see a down close week, but we have been having down close weeks for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks now. We've had down close weeks, so we do need to be very careful with this. Nonetheless, it will be interesting to see if we can create another down close. Now, again, with it being the last week of August and after having a week like last week's, I'm not, in terms of targets, I doubt price would want to reach down into this sell side liquidity for now. So that means that there's got to be some kind of PD array, ideally between this sell side liquidity and this low that price may want to trade to key off. So let's go down to, in fact, first, before we do that, let's look at this rejection block level right here. I remember, guys, this is the first time I've actually been in here in a while, but that is a weekly rejection block. And the reason that's significant is because this PD array is closer. This PD array comes before the sell side liquidity target. So this sell side liquidity, although I do think price may eventually and will likely eventually get there, I want to see if we can get to the rejection block level first. So that obviously we'd want to see how price reacts around that if we are to reach down there. But as we drop down to the lower time frames, as I was saying, we will likely find more PD arrays to key off. So let's go down to the daily. And you can see Monday had an up close with Tuesday trading on lower outside of that monthly wick, which is quite interesting. And then what you can see right here is that weekly rejection block level just happens to line up with this bullish order block. So that's very convenient for price. Why? Because we know how price responds to bullish order blocks, especially in a deep discount like this. So this may be a very sensitive price, and I do want to make sure we keep our attention on this. Nonetheless, it's very interesting to see how price created looks like some kind of swing high today on Tuesday, running at that Monday high, rebalancing with this level right here. Again, this is what you call immediate rebalance, which is also technically a setup. And then the fact, if this candle closes outside of this monthly wick, so in 1 hour and 29 minutes, which it likely will, if we close outside of the monthly wick, I want to see it continue to provide this wick with resistance. So we also have a bearish order block in here. We can look at the opening price of that now, and this will act as a bearish order block. So if price trades back into that, say tomorrow, we can expect a bearish reaction away from that, purely because as soon as this candle took out that low, it permits it to be an order block. So now this is a bearish order block. That means we should anticipate it to act accordingly if we are to trade back into it, assuming we are reaching down into this discount. So let's get that marked out as opening daily bearish order block open. So now we have PD arrays where we'd expect to find strong reactions. We've got this level here where we may create some kind of premium tomorrow potentially, and then we have this weekly rejection block level down here as a potential target for price on the downside, assuming we continue to have a draw lower. So let's go down to, and remember I did say I would like to think that we can get another down close week, but again I wouldn't be surprised nothing surprised me at this point with it being the end of August. But anyway, let's go to the 4 hour, and you'll see that lines up with this bullish order block, which should now act bearishly, which is quite interesting. And then we also have a breaker. We've got a high, a low, a higher high, and price is broken down. You can see how price has treated this breaker range right here, as in price has traded into it and then ran out of it and now it's closed below it. Very interesting. And then let's go to the 1 hour and take a better look. So this is looking awfully bearish to me. As you can see, clear expansion. Again, tomorrow I'll be just watching this daily bearish order block level to see how price treats it accordingly. So this is a Sunday opening price as well. So that's another important PD array. We will open the gap. We will delineate the gap right here. And again, if price does manage to rally, this will act as a nice premium to look for potential shorts on dollar with longs on the pairs, with the expectations to try and stretch on lower. We'll go to the 15-minute real quick, and you can see we're just in a slight consolidation. But again, we may find a little bit of rallying before an expansion lower. Now, one thing to take note of is when price does come to this low, it may start running straight for the sell stops. But let's go to the 1 hour and see if we can find any more PD arrays. So we have these lows down here, south side liquidity below there. And then that's pretty much all I've really got my eyes set on. Oh, there's an imbalance right here. So that's a clear fair value gap on the hourly. So if we just get that dragged right the way through, as we move into tomorrow, we can anticipate this imbalance to want to get filled, because, you know, we're looking for price to fill imbalance, either take out lows and highs or go to fill an imbalance, because ICT has stated price is always doing one of two things. It's either running for highs or lows, or it's reaching to try and fill some kind of imbalance. So in this case, we have an imbalance right here, and then if we were to get through that, then I'd be looking at these lows and that weekly rejection block level. But again, this imbalance, that could be enough for price to fill that, and then we might find that it turns. It all depends on how we treat the low of the imbalance, or if we even don't get to the low, because if we fail to get to the low and we only trade to the 50% level and we start getting a reaction higher, you know, that's you know, bullish behavior. So we'll know that once price gets down there, but ideally I'd like to think that it could try and fill that in. So that's going to be everything on dollar. Very interesting. To be honest, I'm pretty glad I wasn't in the charts Monday and Tuesday, to be honest, because this has really allowed me to look at price a lot more cleaner, like quickly, get an idea of what price is, you know, likely going to draw to. We also have an imbalance here, which should act as a bearish PD array. Now, I'm not saying that price is necessarily going to trade up into that for now, but again, the fact that we're on the downside of it, it's like another level of resistance to help keep pushing price lower, if that makes sense. So yeah, paying close attention to that too. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to head on to GBP USD as per usual. Get rid of all of this. And then we can jump to the monthly here as well. And GBP has been moving absolutely wonderfully, running right up into its premium PD array, so this fair value gap. Has it filled it yet? Yeah, we just got to the top of it. And then we also have this bearish order block, which it looks like we're about to trade into as well. So I'll definitely keep that bearish order block in mind, because again, if we're expecting some kind of, you know, if we're expecting to eventually hit some kind of, I say stop. If we're expecting to hit something anyway, it's going to be a PD array such as a bearish order block or an imbalance filling. So this monthly bearish order block should be very significant. Why? Because it's monthly, so it should be very sensitive to price. So I'll get that marked out for us. And then right here as well, if we drag this range between this low and this high through, this is basically going to act as a bullish fair value gap. And that's just because this is a point of distribution. So I can imagine there's going to be accumulation going on here later, meaning that if we retraced back into that range, I'd expect it to provide support. But nonetheless, I want to see how we respond once we get to that monthly bearish order block. Let's go to the weekly. And if we're expecting a down close on dollar, that means we want to see an up close on pound. Again, there's that monthly bearish order block level. I don't see any other PD arrays in here which are catching my eye. There is a fair value gap all the way up here, but I doubt price is going to run for that this week again. It's doable. In fact, let me look at the news just in case. I probably should have done this before. Let's take a look. So this week we have high impact news on Thursday and Friday. Okay, so Thursday and Friday is probably where we're going to see the most movement. With it being Wednesday tomorrow, we probably won't get too much happening. So regardless, tomorrow's video will probably be a lot more insightful as to whether we will end up reaching for that premium PDA rate or whether price is going to start retracing on itself. Nonetheless, let's go to the daily. You can see we've created a nice bullish order block here on the Monday with Tuesday. Look, Tuesday failed to take out that low. Quite interesting. So I do want to bring our attention to that, because the fact that we failed to do that means that price may want to come back later and try and snatch that. But then we also have this bullish order block on the daily as an opening. So if price manages to retrace into that, we can use that as a setup. So we've got daily bullish order block. Ooh. And then let's see. And then we have an imbalance right here. So there's another bearish order block right here as well. I'm going to mark this out in blue. And it's also at the top of an imbalance. So again, this is more reason as to why I'd like to think that price can just reach up into there and then see if we can get a nice reaction away from that. So let's go down to the 4 hour. And you'll see how we 4 hour, and then you can see how we create that low. Again, classic setup, low, high, lower low, came back down into price and then expansion. Moving into tomorrow, I'd like to think that we can just keep running, to be honest, and try and reach into that premium. Yeah, I'm not really expecting a deep retracement at all. In fact, you can already see price has found support at this price level, you know, and then here again. So as far as I'm concerned, we're going to remain bullish, and price is going to carry on rallying until we get a strong reaction of something. So I'm not really too concerned about down here for now. But nonetheless, once it gets to here, then I'm watching closely. And again, with it being Thursday and Friday with high impact news, and remember, we want to end the month creating some kind of wick. It'll be very convenient for price to, you know, give us that Thursday reversal or Friday reversal or something of that nature. So that's going to be everything on pound. I hope that all makes sense. Basically, I'm just expecting a continuation. There's no reason for us to be bearish at this point. I marked out that sell side liquidity just because you can see in the wick on the daily that price failed to take out the low, whereas dollar managed to take out that high. So when it gets left just untouched like that, I can imagine price is going to want to come back to it. Also, look at how relatively equal these lows are. I doubt price is just going to let them hang around like that, but we'd need a reversal for that to be targeted, and we haven't got that yet. So let's finish up on Euro USD. We'll go to the daily. And let's go to we'll go to the monthly. Now monthly is looking a bit crazy. Again, these highs, eventually price will likely, you know, manage to trade up into that, but I'm not too concerned about that for now. To be honest, there's nothing on this monthly that I want to use necessarily. Let's go to the weekly. We got a nice rejection block level here. If we're expecting an up close week, if we're expecting an up close, then this will be a nice place to create a potential high. So get that marked out as a rejection block, weekly rejection block. And then we go down to the daily. And you can see that also lines up with a bearish order block. So again, these levels, we're anticipating price to find a strong response away from them. Whether we end up with an up close or down close doesn't really matter. The reason I'm saying we're going in with the up close mindset is because we're looking to see where price would expand to. So this is the first PD array which I'd expect it to expand to. After that, if we get the reaction away from it I want, then I'd simply readjust and think, okay, well, we'll get that Thursday reversal. Now we can start thinking about the lows. But when we've been piping like this, we've been rallying like this for so long, and prices continue to rally, there's no point in me going in there with the expectation that we're going to have a down close week now, because I could be saying that, you know, I could be saying that every day we're going to get the down close day today, we're going to get the down close day today, and price will just keep rallying. So we stick on the same side that the market's clearly moving and drawing to until we need to, you know, change our bias, and then we'll be proven correctly so, and it will likely appear at one of these PD arrays which I'm drawing your attention to right now. Nonetheless, look at how price is treating this bullish order block, traded down into that on Monday. Tuesday, again, look, Tuesday fails to take out that low. So that's a level of divergence, isn't it? The fact that dollar managed to take out that high I'll show you what I'll show you. We'll look at that after. Yeah, we'll look at that after, but that is significant divergence because it's on a daily time frame. But anyway, we can look at this high now. It's a nice buy side target, moving it into Wednesday. And then let's go to the 4 hour. Some beautiful expansion here. Breaker, low, high, lower, low. So it'll be nice to see if price can come back down into this range at all. It doesn't have to, but it'd be nice to see if it can get down below here to offer a potential premium discount before running on higher into its premium. Let's go to the 1 hour. Yeah, pretty classic in terms of setup wise, but nonetheless, I'm just expecting to see if we can rally above this buy side liquidity target, and then again move ourselves into Thursday with the expectation or the potential for a reversal to form. So what was I talking about with these lows? So let's make the lows obvious. So this low specifically is one we're looking at. Let's add dollar and let's add GBP USD and look at the same highs on dollar. Right here, and you'll see that was tagged at that point, and then the same lows on GBP USD. So what is this showing us? Well, I guess it's showing us where the stops were raided. So this is showing a level of strength on euro because it's failed, a level of strength on euro and pound because both of them have said no, I don't want to, I don't want to show that weakness. So we're seeing the market here is tipping its hand, showing us that we're likely going to see dollar continue to fall because it's going to be forced to catch up with the strength, even though it's really slight, but it's going to be forced to catch up with the strength of the euro and pound because they're not willing to take out those lows. So that's another reason and another confluence that can add to our analysis that we just done on dollar, with the expectation to try and come down deeper and run into this imbalance. So it's little things like that which we need to pay attention to that can help us stay on the right side ideally. So hopefully that all makes sense. Obviously we're going to have to wait and see how price plays out tomorrow and moving into Thursday. But yeah, it's good to be back. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, join the mailing list, join the Discord, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.